Hey everybody, I know this video is going to be a little bit different. I don't normally show my face. I'm usually very scripted, and today I'm working on no script. But since my Brick video is going to be like slightly delayed since I can't get my hands on a copy of Brick, it's still going to be coming out this month. It's just going to be a little bit later once I work out some things. I'm going to do a fun little video and also talk about my 100 subscriber giveaway that's coming up again. So first of all, I want to thank all the people who have been subscribed lately. Like, seriously, thank you so much for supporting this channel. It means so much to me. This is something that I've done to try to help me get through quarantine and everything, and I've enjoyed it so much, and I feel like I've made some genuinely fun videos, so I'm glad you guys enjoy that. So for you guys, once we hit 100 subscribers, which we are very close to hitting, and I've talked about it before, I'm going to be giving away a DVD with a custom art cover. So there's a select number of DVDs. They'll be up on the screen and all the information about that. But it'll come with the normal DVD, the case, one of my custom art covers, which is front, back, sidebar, everything, and then also, of course, the normal cover in case you hate my artwork, because I will admit that not all of it's the best. I'm not like a crazy artist. I just really like these covers. I use them personally, so I figured it would be a cool thing. And you get a free DVD either way. So once we hit 100 subscribers, a video will come out, which will, all you'll have to do is be subscribed and comment on that video, and you'll be entered in to win. So I'm super excited to do that. Now, let's get into the ranking. So, as you saw on the video thing itself, I'm ranking all of the decade of the 2010s. That is 452 feature films that I have seen. I'm going to be ranking them all on a tier list because I'm insane. And I know you're probably wondering how they're going to fit on this. I'm going to stack them once I'm done with a year, because I'm going year by year, starting with 2010, and once I'm done going through the individual, I'll stop recording, stack them to where you can still slightly see some of the poster, and then we'll move on to the next little bit. It's going to be fun, it's going to be cool, it's going to take a lot of effort, and it's going to be crazy, honestly. So we're starting with the 2010s, which I have seen 38 films, and once they load in, these are the 38 films I've seen from the year 2010, and we're gonna rank them over here. So let's just start with whatever we get first. I know this is gonna be interesting. Okay, so Alice in Wonderland, 2010. This is a Tim Burton movie, I think. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird movie. Definitely not as good as the normal Alice in Wonderland. I think I don't have it as rated. Yeah. So because of when I started Letterboxd, I have a lot of movies that I've logged that I haven't rated. It says like there, but it says no like there. I remember it being pretty weird. I'm gonna put it probably right on C. C is going to be like our mid 2.5 kind of tier thing. So we have our first movie, Alice in Wonderland. So we're going to X her out. I think we're in almost alphabetical order. Next we have The Secret World of Arrietty. I actually did a video on this. Well, not like Arrietty specifically, but my Studio Ghibli ranked video, I talk about it. I'm not a big fan of Arrietty. It's a fine movie, but it's really not my thing, I guess. I'm gonna put Arrietty. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put Arrietty in D tier, which a lot of Studio Ghibli fans are probably gonna be very sad about. I should probably make these posters a little smaller. You're gonna lose so much detail, but you know, if you're watching the video, you should get the gist, I hope. Alright, Arrietty and Alice. Next up we have 16 Wishes. I barely remember watching this. This is a Disney Channel style movie. It's not inherently Disney, I don't think. But gee, I remember her not being so good. I'm gonna also put it on the D, because I don't remember it being like awful. but I don't think it was good. Next we have Avalon High. I actually just watched this for the first time recently, like probably a week ago, and it's trash. It's also got this guy, that guy, who's in Marvel's Runaways, which is also kind of trash. Like, would not suggest Marvel Runaways. And it was not a fun time, and they kind of broke their own logic of the movie. Like, I guess spoilers for a lot of these movies, I don't know. They're a decade old. That's crazy, I shouldn't say that. That makes me sound old. Like, they have this whole, like, Arthur reveal thing, and, they set up all this logic for who Arthur could be, and then it ends up being the girl, and I'm fine with that. I really don't care, and I don't want it to sound like, oh, Arthur can't be a girl. But, like, they broke their own logic of the universe to do it, and that bothered me so much. Next we have Clutch Powers, The Adventures of Clutch Powers. All I really remember of this movie, and it's just because we watched the trailer recently, is in the trailer there's this thing that goes by, and Clutch Powers drives by this one Lego guy, and he's like, Clutch Powers, and he just says it in this stupid way, and that's all I remember about this movie. But I remember liking it, like, growing up. So we're gonna put it on C. It feels like a C movie. This is just nostalgia, probably. It's probably not very good. But I haven't seen it in probably 10 years. So let's see, Cats and Dogs, Revenge of Kitty Galore. I grew up on this movie. I grew up on the first movie, which I can't believe the first movie came out over 10 years ago. Kind of crazy. And it's actually funny because they just did a new Cats and Dogs movie. So technically speaking, for the past 3 decades, there's been a new Cats and Dogs movie each decade. Because this was 2002. I think the old one was 2008. And the new one was 2020. So I can't wait for 2030 when we get another installation in the Cats and Dogs universe. You know, screw it. I'm gonna drop these down. I don't know how this ranking's gonna go, but, like, I feel C is way too high for those. I don't know how I feel about that. Man, I'm gonna be so indecisive in this. I'll probably do stuff like that a lot. C is so high. C is green. Look at green is good. And these movies are just kind of mediocre. I don't know. I know, like, B is, I don't know. S is, like, top tier, obviously. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Alright, Deathly Hallows Part 1. My least favorite Harry Potter movie, question mark? What did I rate it? I rated it 4 stars, but no like. I think it's pretty well made. I think this will go in C, because I think it's pretty well made, but it's so boring. Like, it sets up the next one, which Deathly Hallows Part 2 is one of my favorite Harry Potter movies. It sets up that well, but it's just, like, it can't stand on its own, and that really kills me. It's so boring to get through. We just recently did it on our podcast, Recently Logged, and yeah, that was something. Next up we have Despicable Me. And I know what you're thinking, Despicable Me, the first thing your eyes goes to are these demon spawns and their cultural impact. And I hate the Minions, and I hate the Minions movie. Honestly, in this movie, they're not that bad. But Despicable Me, I think, is a genuinely, like, at least good kids movie. I don't think it's, like, great or anything, but it's significantly better than anything else that came out of, like, the franchise. And yes, I am going to put it ahead of Deathly Hallows Part 1. It's gonna be our first B. I, like, actually genuinely really like Despicable Me. I think it's pretty clever. I think the voice cast is well done and all of that. Next up, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, actually good. Go watch Brown Table's video on it. Like, I agree with that. I haven't seen the rest of the series, but I was, like, genuinely surprised to find that this movie is also pretty darn good. I'm not gonna put it, I think, because I'm going less off of ratings and more off of what I like, and I don't think I liked it enough to put it on B. yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I love how, like, all of these have been, like, pretty much kids' movies besides Harry Potter. Just kind of shows you what age I was around in the 2010s. How to Train Your Dragon, I haven't seen it in way too long, but I remember loving it, and I've seen so much calling it an animated masterpiece. I've got to put it in A. Like, I just remember it being so good, and the rest of the franchise is brilliant. So it may be a little weird, but I'm going to put it in A. I'm really hoping I don't kill the computer because I'm running so many things right now. Yeah, let's hope the computer doesn't die. But yeah, How to Train Your Dragon, the whole trilogy is really, like, genuinely special. If anybody says they think DreamWorks puts out trash movies, they do put out some trash movies, but so does every studio. Go watch How to Train Your Dragon, go watch Kung Fu Panda. Next we have Furry Vengeance. That one speaks for itself. I mean, we've got CGI and puppet animals and Brendan Fraser, so I don't know where else to put it. It belongs to the S tier. So, load, okay. Insidious. I really don't like Insidious. And I know a lot of people who really like Insidious, and I don't jive with the movie. I don't get behind the movie. I can't with Insidious. I don't think it's awful. I think it's pretty okay made. The writing bothers the heck out of me. I don't think it's creepy. I laughed through 90% of the movie on a first watch. So yeah, it's gonna go in D tier. It's not for me. Next we have Iron Man 2. The worst of the Iron Man trilogy, but is it a bad movie? I do not think it's a bad movie. I don't know, the Iron Man trilogy is something I return to a lot to kind of just, like, be like, what was the beginning of the MCU like? And, well, like I already said, I think Iron Man 2 is definitely, like, the worst, quote-unquote, Iron Man movie. I still think it's actually really fun. And, I mean, it introduces, like, a lot of elements into the series. I just think, even though, like, you know, the villain is kind of iconic, not the one villain, but the other villain. I don't remember anybody's names right now. It just doesn't really execute any of its plot very well, especially from an antagonist standpoint. Next we have Killers. Holy crap, this is awful. This is a terrible movie. Absolute trash. Like, I watched this someday. I think my mom turned it on Netflix sometime. And I watched the whole thing, and that's sad. Does it deserve... What did I rate it? Because does it deserve this tier? I rated it 2... What? Why does it say liked? No! Hold up. Oh, and I just realized the reason it probably said like, but no like, is I'm using somebody else's Letterboxd to do this. Yeah, I'm gonna unlike Killers. I'm gonna do that right now. Ew. Go away. Yeah, a lot of this stuff probably gonna happen more than once. I had some interesting takes when I first got on Letterboxd. Yeah, I'm not gonna put it in F tier. I feel like F tier is going to be like the exclusively awful movies, and while it's terrible, I don't think it's like the death of cinema. Next we have Inception. Inception is probably the best movie to come out of 2010. It's probably my second favorite Christopher Nolan movie. The cast is amazing. The visual effects are amazing. The story is amazing. Like, this is honestly probably peak Christopher Nolan, even if it's not inherently my favorite. And since this is actually a genuine S tier, I'm gonna knock Furry Vengeance down to E, where it belongs. Sorry, buddy. Love Brendan Fraser, but that movie just, it ain't it. Move it over a little bit. Sorry for anybody with OCD that none of this stuff is lining up. I don't really have the time to do that. Next we have Megamind, another DreamWorks movie. 2010 DreamWorks was apparently on fire because Megamind is actually amazing. It's not like a 5-star movie for me. I think I gave it 4.5. But dang, it's like actually really genuinely well written. It's an amazing Will Ferrell role, which doesn't happen that often. And like, it's really clever. It's really funny. And go watch Megamind. That's the takeaway of this. I mean, I need to watch half these movies again, but go watch Megamind specifically. Alright, up next, what do we have? We have the Tom Cruise comedy Night and Day. Also has Cameron Diaz. Nobody likes somebody likes Cameron Diaz, I'm sure, but I don't like Cameron Diaz. This movie, a lot of my family loves this movie. I think it's hilarious. I think it's fine. Which tier? Yeah, I think it's... I'll put it in this tier. I gotta make the hard choices. It's not funny, really, and I don't like Cameron Diaz really at all. The only Cameron Diaz role I've ever liked was Shrek 2 and Shrek. I should have just said Shrek because that encompasses the franchise. I've only seen Shrek 1 and 2, though. But Night and Day, no, it just really isn't that funny. It tries to be, but it's not. Oh my gosh, the Penguins of Madagascar, new to the freaking zoo. The Penguins of Madagascar is probably the greatest television show to ever air. In all seriousness, it is like a genuinely really good show. I would totally suggest it if you like it. It's like better than anything Penguins or Madagascar related. Like better than any of the movies, and especially better than the Penguins of Madagascar movie. I'm gonna put this on C tier. As much as I like the show, I think that collection of episodes that make up like that little mini movie aren't really the best of the show. So I think C tier is good for it. Narnia Voyage of the Dawn Treader, one of my favorite of the Narnia books, but out of the Narnia movies, which none of them I really like that much, it's kind of mid. I really think the books are really well written, and I think the movies are pretty weirdly made. The best part of this, I think, was the Eustace cast. I really like their choice of Eustace, but I just don't think I can put it higher than D. I want to. I think I would probably put The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in C, but I think the Dawn Treader was just really messy. Next we have Nanny McPhee, which I thought was Nanny McPhee Returns. Like, I grew up watching this. We had it on DVD at my grandparents' house, and I swear it said Nanny McPhee Returns, but it says here Nanny McPhee and the Big Bang, which also makes sense in context of the movie, but like, it's Nanny McPhee Returns, right? Like, it's gotta be. I'm not crazy. Let's see. I don't think it's very good. It's not awful, though. It's gonna go D. Sorry, Nanny McPhee. The first Nanny McPhee is better. In this movie, they try to, like these two women are, like, obsessed with trying to kill and stuff this guy. They're, like, the main bad guys of the movie. And they want to kill and stuff a human being, and it's weird. It's honestly really weird. Next we have Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, directed by Zack Snyder. I watched this, I think, in theaters, and that's the only time I've ever watched it, and really the only time I've ever thought about it. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder's directing now. But I don't think I can put it higher than D. I don't remember it, but I remember it being really weird. Wow, we're filling up fast on D. Apparently I need to watch some better movies. Next we have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. I've never read the Percy Jackson movies, which my brother and sister still hate. They hated this movie because of how inaccurate it was, and also because it's not a very good movie. Like, I grew up liking it. Like, I was like, oh, this is fun, and then as I got, like, more like, oh, this is kind of not a good movie. It's not awful, but it's not good. I'm gonna put it on C tier, just out of its place in my heart. I don't know, I really enjoyed the movie growing up. Next we have Batman Under the Red Hood. I have not liked a single animated Batman movie that I've seen other than Mask of the Phantasm. I haven't watched that many Batman animated movies before you go crazy, but I have seen The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2. I thought they were trash. This one was not trash, it just wasn't very good. I'm not going to put it in D. I think it deserves better than that. It was pretty genuinely, decently well made, but it just wasn't my cup of tea, I guess. The voice cast was good. Next we have Perfect Plan, which was trash. Probably one of the worst movies I've seen in quality. I guess the writing wasn't bad. I think what made this worse was I'm a big Uncharted fan. I actually am wearing the Uncharted necklace with the ring and everything right now. And the main actress of this movie voices Elena. I hate it so much. Does it deserve F tier? I think I'll put it in F tier. I will never watch this movie again. I hope, I pray, I wish. Next we have a loading symbol. Clash of the Titans. Really mid. Watched it once. Haven't really thought about it again. Horrible color grading. Oh my gosh, that's a big poster. Size that baby down. That had to be 3,000 pixels or something. What the heck? Size her down. And we're gonna put her in D tier. Because I don't think it was very good. Next we have Salt, which I watched recently. It's Angelina Jolie. And man, the writing of this was bad. It was so bad. My family likes this movie. And I don't know, I feel similar about this that I feel about the Bourne trilogy. And I know that's blasphemy to some people. But the Bourne trilogy it's not good. And this was not good. I think this writing was honestly worse than most of the Bourne trilogy. I think it's probably worse, or not as bad as the fourth Bourne movie. But I kind of don't really consider the fourth Bourne movie as part of headcanon, I guess. But yeah, no, Salt was not good. The writing, the story was so confusing. You never knew what was going on, but not in the way they wanted you. They wanted you to be ooh, twist, turn, but instead, you just didn't know what was going on. Maybe I'm stupid, I don't know. Next we have Red. My grandparents like Red, and if you know my grandparents, which you probably don't know my grandparents, but if you know my grandparents, that's very odd that both of them like this movie. It's not very good. It's not very funny. The cast, which there are some good actors in this movie, aren't giving very good performances. It's really weird that both my grandparents like this movie so much. I'm going to put it... Does it deserve to be on the same row as Salt and Night and Day? Yeah, I'd probably put it on the quality of those two, action movie-wise. I think they're pretty mid. Or a little worse than mid, I suppose. F tier is for, trash. E tier is for, movies I hate. D tier is for movies that I think are bad, but not aggressively awful. Next we have Prince of Persia, The Sand of Time. Amazing cast, slightly less amazing movie. It's okay. I've only seen it once, but the filmmaking is just so and it doesn't look very good, and the story isn't very well written. The bad guy is just Jafar, but worse. Obviously, like I said, the cast is really good, though. They do their best they can with it. And I'm gonna put it in C. Because it's memorable, I remember it well. It's just not the most pleasant of memories. Next we have Starstruck, an actual Disney Channel movie, which I think Disney Channel by the 2010s is kind of when I stopped watching most Disney Channel. And I think it got worse. Starstruck is not good. Is it as good as 16 Wishes? What is 16 Wishes? I feel like 16 Wishes shouldn't be on the same tier as these. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna put Starstruck here. I'm gonna move 16 Wishes down here with Starstruck. Starstruck was stupid. Starstruck was very stupid. I did not like the plot at all. I hardly remember it, but I remember it being like some love story with like this pop star. He was like, all these girls like me, I hate it. And then this girl was like, I don't like you. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And then she ends up liking him. And that's the movie. Next we have The Sorcerer's Apprentice with legend Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, I feel like this is a similar instance to Prince of Persia. Wow, why did that layer so weird? Why is it behind like everything? I feel like it's similar to Prince of Persia in the fact that it has a really pretty okay cast, or at least Nicolas Cage was a good cast choice. But I think it has even less to offer than Prince of Persia, and I'm gonna slot it in the empty spot on D tier. Load. I don't know how many movies in we are. Let's see, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We're somewhere near the end, so that's good, because there's a lot going on in my house right now, and I needed to finish up this segment soon. I may have to film this over several days, just because it's a lot. Like, there's a lot, I don't have a lot of time today. So yeah, if I change outfits, if I look very different, it's because I have to film over multiple days. Next we have Tangled. Tangled, I love Tangled. Tangled is so much fun. I think Tangled has horrible pacing. I think it really has pacing problems. Most Disney movies do. Like that's my thing. When I say Tangled has horrible pacing problems, like most Disney movies from that era have bad pacing. But like every other element of Tangled is just so good. Like the characters, the cast, the world, like just everything about it is really, really great. So I can get over the pacing being not that great, even though it kind of throws off the watch quite a bit for like, you know, like everything else. Like it's one of probably my most watched Disney movies from that era, and I'm very much okay with that. Next we have Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Very interesting. Oh look, and we have the final movies there. So Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is very good. I don't think it makes S tier for me personally. I think Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a really inventive movie. Edgar Wright's an insane director. Always super creative. The cast is amazing. The editing is spectacular, but it doesn't really have that oomph of S tier for me. Like, I think the S tier is probably going to end up being, like, a bunch of, like, my 5-star movies that I just, like, love. And pretty much anything else that I think is really genuinely good is going to go on A. Like, I think my A tier right now, those are amazing movies. But I do think Inception is better than all of them. So yeah, that's kind of how that's going to go. Next we have Toy Story 3, my second favorite, probably, of the Toy Story franchise. I kind of like them in a weird order. I like Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, which I don't like Toy Story 4 at all. I could talk about Toy Story 4 for a while, but I'm not going to. But I will say I think Toy Story 3 is a genuinely great ending to the trilogy. I think it wraps up all of the characters so well, even Woody. Screw you, Toy Story 4. Nobody cares about Bo Peep. And yeah, go watch Toy Story 3. Next we have Phineas and Ferb, Summer Belongs to You. If I'm not mistaken, one of the last Phineas and Ferb big projects. I love Phineas and Ferb. I grew up on Phineas and Ferb. I've seen the whole show probably like at least 10 times through, like all of it. Summer Belongs to You is okay. I'm trying to remember which specifically Summer Belongs to You is. I don't think it's the one where they race around the world to follow the sun to get the longest day of summer, but it might be. Phineas and Ferb take fun to new heights in the best lazy day ever. Oh, it's the one where they do... Yeah, no, it is the one where they go around the world. So yeah, I think this one's pretty good. I like Summer Belong to You. Or Summer Belongs to You, Summer Belong to You, wow. I'm gonna put it on B tier. Who doesn't like Summer Belongs to You? Phineas and Ferb are just... It's such a genuinely good show. I don't know what to tell you. If you didn't grow up with Phineas and Ferb, I'm sorry. If you missed it, like if you're too old, you missed it, go watch it. It's like a genuinely really fun show. I know a lot of people are against like, kids cartoons. Can't watch those now that I'm old. But don't, go watch kids cartoons. I'm watching a bunch of cartoons that like I didn't watch growing up for the first time, like the regular show. I'm watching that for the first time, and that's awesome. Like, just go watch cartoons. Nobody's gonna judge you. Next we have Tron Legacy. I actually watched Tron before I watched Tron Legacy, which I know not a lot of people have. I'm not even sure a lot of people have seen Tron. And honestly, Tron Legacy, while visually outstanding and its score is really good, is just kind of a mid movie. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's just mid. Like I said, the visuals are amazing. The lighting looks great. The cast is even fun, but the writing of the story and the action is just so meh. Like, so many elements about this are good, especially the cinematography. But like, other than that, I don't think Tron really brings much to the table. Next we have True Grit, my least favorite Coen Brothers movie. I feel like there's been a lot of least favorites in the 2010s, which is interesting. I feel like a lot of why I don't like this movie goes back to the source material of True Grit and not to the Coen Brothers, because I feel like the Coen Brothers, I love the way they direct westerns, and I love, like, the cast of this movie so much. Like, the cast of this movie is great. You got Haley Steinfeld, you got Matt Damon, you've got, I just lost everyone's name, Josh Brolin. Yeah, I mean, you know the cast. It's really good. And I feel sad that I'm just so bored watching the movie. It just doesn't do it. The story just isn't interesting. And like I said, I feel like that goes back to more like the source material than like the direction and what they put out themselves. Oh my gosh. Next we have Yogi Bear, Masterpiece. The live action Yogi Bear I watched for the first time, like, I think probably this year. Maybe last year. I don't know, we're pretty early into 2021. And it's not very good, but it's really fun. Like, for no reason. Man, I feel bad putting it in this tier, but I do also really like Revenge of Kitty Galore. Like, most of this tier, I do not like any of those movies. But I think quality-wise, I can't put it on the same tier as these. Like, I just don't think I can pull that and still feel good about this ranking. So yeah, while it's a really fun movie, it's just not that great. And last, but probably least, we have My Babysitter's a Vampire. Yeah, let's take this brilliant invention of cinema and place it... I'm loading pretty slow. We're going to place it... right in here with all of these other similarly not great movies. Similar feel, similar a lot of stuff. And with that, if we don't lag out of existence, that is the 2010, that is 2010 ranked for what I've seen of feature films. A lot of very D-tier stuff. We're about to get into 2011, so I don't want to be like, let's close the video kind of thing. But yeah, interesting. This is going to be an interesting decade to talk about. I feel like I liked more movies in the 2010s, but, I mean, I don't know, look at this list, it's kind of weird. So yeah, let's get into 2011. Hey guys, we're now here at what is effectively part 2 of this video. We're going to be going over Again, 2011, I know I just said that, but I realized after that took a little bit longer than I had initially thought of, that I am going to be splitting this into a series. That was kind of the original plan, but I didn't know how much I was going to be able to get into one. I'm going to do 2 years every video, so we're going to do 2010, 2011, and so on until we get through the decade. Just another reminder that once we get to 100 subscribers, you'll have a chance to win a custom art cover DVD from a big selection that I'm apparently trying to drop. It's more than just these 4, and they're gonna look really nice, and I really hope you guys enjoy those. But let's get into 2011. So what do we got here? We got 37 films this time, which I think is less. There were 38. Oh, it's 1 less. So we have 1 less. We got the same list working with here because I figured, just for view-wise, since there was so little of, like, some of them, I'm just gonna stack if we run out of space on a tier. And then afterwards, I'll do the whole, like, big stack thing like I mentioned I was going to do. So, to keep us rolling, we're gonna start with, apparently, Soul Surfer. Soul Surfer... 2011. I watched this in we rented it from Redbox when it came out, and that was the only time I've ever seen it. So I hardly remember it, but I remember it being pretty okay. Like, I enjoyed it back then, and you know, from what I hear, it's a pretty decent movie. I should watch it again sometime. Next we have Rio, the beginning of the rise of Blue Sky. Rio is odd because, like, while I liked it growing up, I also kind of hated it growing up. I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but I don't think it's exactly good. I'm gonna put it in D tier with how I feel it is. Yeah, there we go. It's just so weird, and Rio 2 is trash, and I just don't think I can put it any higher. Next we have the Winnie the Pooh movie, which I think I saw in theaters, but I really don't remember it at all. I mean, Winnie the Pooh's pretty okay. Everything I've seen of Winnie the Pooh has been pretty good. I'm gonna put it middle of the road. I don't really remember it, but I mean, it's Winnie the Pooh. How bad could it be? Next, we have the first Thor movie. I know a lot of people say this is the best Thor movie. I know a lot of people who don't like Ragnarok. I know a lot of people who do like Ragnarok. But I honestly think the first Thor movie is just okay. I think it's got some really weird vibes for, like, a Marvel movie, but, you know... And I think it's the weirdest of, like, the Chris Hemsworth performances as Thor, but I still think it's pretty good. Next we have Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch, which I kind of hate, and I kind of think is gross that it's directed by a guy at the same time. I don't know. I get why thematically, like, a lot of the stuff is in there that's in there, but at the same time, I would feel a lot better about this movie if it was directed by a woman, and also... Like, I just really don't like Zack Snyder's action style in this movie. The slow motion and the bad CGI, it really doesn't do it for me. It's going all the way down to D tier. Next we have Mr. Popper's Penguins, Jim Carrey. Another one I watched when it came out and haven't really thought of since. I had to read the book for school. Kind of hated it. And if I remember, I didn't really like the movie either. It's another just kind of not very good D tier. The D tier is quite extensive. Next we have Mars Needs Moms. I remember this movie being pretty darn trash and pretty darn horrifying, and I'm gonna put it down below some of what's considered, like, the worst animated movies by some people I know. And, you know, just go watch Mars Needs Moms if you want a bad animated movie. Also, speaking of bad animated movies, we have Hoodwinked 2. Now, I actually really, really love the first Hoodwinked. The animation, yeah, it'll throw you off, but I do actually think it's really cleverly written and, like, hilarious, and I'll watch it anytime. Hoodwinked 2 is all of that, but not cleverly written or hilarious. So pretty much just bad animation. It's just not good. It's not funny. It's not a good continuation of the characters, which I was sad about. It's just not good. Next we have On Stranger's Tides, Pirates of the Caribbean, 4th installation. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, probably way more than I should. Like, I just really, really have a thing for them. but I can admit that this one is pretty darn bad, though not as bad as the 5th one. D tier is full first. I still will watch On Strange. I think it's On Strange Tides. I think I said Stranger, but I think it's On Strange Tides or something like that, or maybe it's Stranger Tides. I don't remember. Don't really care. But yeah. Next we have I Am Number 4. I think I've seen it twice, and I think it's based off of a book series that my parents have read, and they're like, it didn't continue the story, it never got a sequel, and I think there's a good reason it never got a sequel. It's going to be the first stack of D, which I think is pretty funny that D has already gone around to being stacked. Next we have Bernie, Jack Black, Matthew McConaughey, comedy, murder, drama, mystery, thriller, question mark? I don't really know what it is. It's funny, it's got a good cast, it's got some cool cinematography and production design. Matthew McConaughey's accent is terrible in this, but that's fine. I think it's a pretty okay movie. I rather enjoyed it. I'm gonna put it... I don't know. I think I could put it up here. I'll put Bernie up here. I think it can take a B slot. Next we have The Artist, which honestly is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's like a black and white silent film for the most part. It's not technically a fully silent film, but like 99% of the movie is silent. And man, it's just so good. I've only seen it twice, and like on rewatch I was like, oh no, is it going to be as good? And then it was just as good, just as intense, just as captivating, and I cannot suggest The Artist enough. Next we have Once Upon a Song, A Cinderella Story. Yeah, pretty darn bad. We're gonna put it down here. Don't have too much to say, wouldn't suggest. What the heck is going on? Line up, please. Next we have The Big Year. Jack Black, Steve Martin, Owen Wilson. This is a really fun cast and a pretty interesting premise, but it's just kind of boring. Like, it just doesn't do much, you know? Like, I even enjoy it too because, like, I have some experience with quote-unquote birding. So I think that's really cool, and I mean, obviously the cast is really cool, but I think it ends up being a pretty uninteresting movie that doesn't bring too much to the table. Next we have Deathly Hallows Part 2. Now, I said Deathly Hallows Part 1 was like one of my least favorites, but Deathly Hallows Part 2 is probably my favorite Harry Potter movie. I think it's really well done. I think like everything that it does is like it does. I worded that poorly. Everything that Deathly Hallows Part 1 does, it does, but like good, actually. If that makes sense. Like, I think it's a great wrap-up of like these stories that have stretched so many years with these actors who do a phenomenal job, and yeah, I'm quite a big fan of Deathly Hallows Part 2. Next we have Captain America: The First Avenger. You know, I would say it's my least favorite Captain America movie, but I really don't like Civil War, which is kind of a hot take. I think it's pretty okay. I would put it probably about on the same level as Thor. It's just fine. It doesn't, I don't know. It's not something I go back to a lot. If I want, like, Peggy content, I'll just watch the show, and that's really the only reason I would watch it. Next we have The Muppets 2011, and, like, need I say more? Like, come on, guys. It's probably the best Muppets movie ever. And hey, Man or Muppet won Best Original Song. It won a freaking Oscar. And yeah, go watch Muppets 2011. It's really good. Next we have Season of the Witch, random Nicolas Cage Netflix movie that we popped on. Real bad. Thought it was fun because Nicolas Cage, but still real bad. We're gonna stack it. Oh my gosh, it lines up with the other Nicolas Cage movie. That's funny. And boom, Season of the Witch. Next we have Cars Freaking 2. Talked about it in my Pixar ranked movie. Kind of trash. Wish it wasn't. Kind of hurts the franchise forever. But I still don't hate it with all my guts, so it's not gonna make F tier. It's just gonna go in E. Next we have Good Luck Charlie, It's Christmas, the Christmas special movie. Good Luck Charlie, show I kind of grew up watching. I was a little older when Good Luck Charlie came out, I think. And I remember the movie being pretty okay. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I have fond memories, specifically of the paintball scene, I think, that happens in this. I could be wrong, this could be trash, and I'm sorry if it is, but I have very fond memories, and it's going in C tier. Next we have From Up on Poppy Hill. Also talked about this in my Ghibli ranked video. It's funny how all these ranked videos are having crossovers. I think it's pretty darn good, especially and specifically on a rewatch. It can be a little jarring on a first watch, and it's definitely not as good as a lot of Studio Ghibli movies, but I definitely think it's got a lot of merit and needs some love that it does not get. Next we have Hugo, one of the only Martin Scorsese movies I have seen, which is kind of sad to say, but also I really don't like Hugo. I think it's really boring. I'm gonna put it right over... okay, there we go. Right over Revenge of Kitty Galore. Which, sorry any of my Scorsese or specifically Hugo fans, but it's just not for me. Next we have Another Earth, some weird indie sci-fi movie that I watched that doesn't really use its premise and is pretty boring most of the time. The actors do a pretty good job, the cinematography is pretty okay. It's not aggressively awful, but it just doesn't do anything. Next we have Brad freaking Bird, his first ever live-action movie, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And yeah, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is good. I don't think it's A-tier good. I think it's got some flaws that I've talked about in my Incredibles Part 1 and 2 video series, where I was kind of talking about where I think went wrong from Incredibles 1 or just The Incredibles to Incredibles 2. And while I think Ghost Protocol is an extremely fun movie and pretty well done, I do think it starts to poke some of the holes in the Brad Bird directing style. Next we have Judy Moody and the Not So Bummer Summer. It is not so bummer, and it is, it's not so bummer. I have amazingly fond memories of this movie. I know it's probably trash, but I don't care. This is my ranking, and again, it's not off of stars or anything like that. It's not off of a point system. It's off of, hey, do I like this movie or not? So, next we have Contagion, which I watched for the first time during a pandemic, which was simultaneously interesting and also please don't ever make a movie about COVID. Just don't. It was I don't want this to happen with this. So don't make a Contagion for a current situation. Just don't. But Contagion is pretty fun. Very weird coming from Soderbergh though. I love the Oceans movies, but it's just kind of whack. Next we have The Adjustment Bureau. Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, not very good. Apparently Pedro Pascal is somewhere in the background of this movie, and I missed it, and I am mad. But again, it's not very good. I'm never going to watch it again just to go see Pedro Pascal in the background. Next we have The Adventures of Tintin, and if you don't know anything about The Adventures of Tintin, you're in for a real treat, because it's literally a masterpiece, while also being directed by Steven Spielberg, written by Edgar Wright. It's got music by John Williams. It's got Simon Pegg and, why did I just lose his name? It's gonna go on a big Tintin spiel, and I lost his name. Yeah, Nick Frost, Andy Serkis, Daniel Craig. This movie is stacked. And just look at this crew. Steven Spielberg, Edgar Wright, it's really genuinely a really well-made movie, which is kind of funny, because Tintin, but also, Tintin has always been good. And I think it's time everybody admits that. So, it's funny, we've padded the A tier quite a bit since we've started 2011, which, I'm not sad about. Chipwrecked. Freaking Chipwrecked. It's so amazing in every way, and it's the most hated on Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, and I don't even know why. It's literally probably the best, like Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. It's probably the best animated, like CGI animated live action crossover. Heck, it's probably the best comedy to ever come out. So there's that. Next we have Romeo and Juliet, which again I only saw when it came out, but I have pretty fond memories of. I remember liking it. Supposedly its soundtrack's pretty good. I'm gonna put it... I don't know, I don't think I can put it on C, though. I remember it also being pretty stupid. I need to watch it again to be able to move it higher. Next we have Green Lantern, which I watched for the first time, I think, like, in 2019, and I remember everybody being like, oh, Green Lantern is the worst, it sucks, that CGI suit looks horrible, and a lot of that's true. But I actually liked it more than I thought it would. It wasn't like the death of cinema like I thought it would be. I think the worst part of the CGI especially was just his mask. Like, I don't think the suit looked aggressively bad 90% of the time. It's just the mask that did. And yeah, like, it's just okay. It wasn't terrible. Ryan Reynolds, I mean, he's still Ryan Reynolds. I still think he's a really fun guy. Next we have Rango. Rango is one of the best looking animated kids movies, like, quote unquote. I don't really think it's a kids movie that I've ever seen. The cinematography in it is beautiful, and the voice cast is pretty darn good. It's got a couple pacing problems, and it's kind of got a weird story, but like Rango is really funny and endearing, and yeah, it's very B tier. I like me some Rango. Next we have Kung Fu Panda 2, the continuation of the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. I can't say my favorite one because Kung Fu Panda is just so good, but it's definitely better than the third one. I think it's got a lot better of a villain than the first one, as much as I love Tai Lung. I don't know. It's such a good movie. Also female directed, so if you watched my my video on the farewell, and at the end I do a little thing of my favorite female directed movies, this is definitely one of them. Very good. Go watch it. Awesome. Next we have Arthur Christmas. I've only seen it once. Houston is a huge fan of it, of Houston Productions, or actually I think it's just Houston Cully now, I think is how you say his last name, since he's done a channel rebrand. And yeah, shout out to Houston. He's had some recent interesting experiences with Marvel in Atlanta. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's a pretty good movie from what I remember. Probably one of the better, like, new animated Christmas movies. Next we have Midnight in Paris. Owen Wilson. Honestly thought it was going to be trash. Like, it looked like it should be trash. But I honestly loved it. Like, I really love this movie. I love how it paints, like, the romanticizing of past society and everything like that. And I think it's a really clever commentary on all of, like, the old writers. And I don't know, I can't not love Midnight in Paris. It's got great music. I love the actors in it, besides what's-her-face, the main female who's not Mull from Inception. I don't remember her name. Letterboxd. Let's see. Oh, I hate the way they do this. This might be the wrong person. No, Rachel McAdams. I really don't like her performance in this that much. Shout out to her in Mean Girls, though. Pretty sick. Let's see. Next we have Spy Kids 4. I love the Spy Kids franchise. I grew up with the Spy Kids franchise. I think it's a great franchise. It's probably the best thing Robert Rodriguez has ever done. And Spy Kids 4, all the time in the world, is trash. I hate it. Like, I literally hate everything about it. Why didn't it just focus on old Junie? Like, come on. Spy Kids 3 was definitely Junie's story. Why couldn't Spy Kids 4 be like, what the heck is he doing now? Like, even if you focused on Carmen for it, it would have been interesting. I don't know. Spy Kids, that one sucks. And last but not least, we have Phineas and Ferb, the movie Across the Second Dimension. The last, major piece of Phineas and Ferb media I really remember being, really into Phineas and Ferb at. It's pretty good. I don't think it's the greatest, but I think it's pretty darn okay. Yeah, I think I'll put it up here. I put Summer Belongs to You up here, and I think Summer Belongs to You is about on the same level, if not a little bit better. So yeah, Second Dimension, and with that, and hopefully a little faster, we have 2011 added to our list. This was really fun. I'm glad I could do this. Hopefully I'll be able to find bricks soon, because I'm going on vacation at the end of the month, and I really want to not have to worry about the video by then. So yeah, brick video coming soon, 100 subscriber giveaway coming soon. I'm really excited for what we're doing with the channel. Sad I don't have as much time since school and college and everything has come back into full swing, but I'm still going to try to put out as much stuff as I can, because I get super restless if I don't. So thanks for watching this little bit different, little unscripted video. I'm going to do more of these when I have time, just because they're fun and don't take a whole lot of work. So yeah. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.